Okay, so Tanya or Tanya says, "Sir, is it okay to see the LinkedIn profile of a hiring manager, the person that will be taking the interview, as he will know that I visited his profile before the interview?" Listen, Tanya, or Tanya, that's an excellent question. Simple answer is that it is perfectly fine to look up the LinkedIn profile of a hiring manager or a recruiter or anyone else before the job interview. Okay, there's several reasons for this. First of all, a lot of people that work in HR and they take a lot of interviews with people they don't know. They're not even checking to see who looks up their LinkedIn profile. So that may put your mind at ease. A lot of them don't check that. But secondly, and this is very important, if somebody is putting up a LinkedIn profile about themselves, this is information that they want disclosed publicly. Okay, so they're not going to be upset that somebody looks up the information that they themselves made public. That doesn't make any sense. It's there for people to look up. And thirdly, if you have a job interview coming up and you know who it's going to be with, when you do your homework on these people and try and learn who they are and what their background is, okay, that can also signal to these people that you are taking this interview seriously, okay? And that's a good thing that counts in your favor. So never shy away from looking up a hiring manager or a recruiter on LinkedIn. It's a great resource. It's there for you, and you should use it, okay? So thank you very much for that awesome question. Okay, I'm not sure how to say this, but I believe it's Trovert. Trovert says, but what if I don't meet all the requirements? I think it happens pretty often. Any advice for such a case? This was in response to a video I did called "Why Should We Hire You?" and what the best answer is for it. The bottom line is, if they ask you this question, "Why should we hire you?" you start speaking to all the requirements for the job that they listed in the job posting, and you say how you satisfy each one. Or at the very least, you speak to each one, okay? Now here's the deal, Trovert, okay? If this is a real concern for you, the very fact that they invited you for an interview, that signals that they're not really concerned that you don't meet the technical requirements for the job, okay? Job interviews are primarily to assess your soft skills, okay? If they like you as a person, if you have good communication skills, if you're professional, if you have charisma, this kind of stuff. So the only people that they call are people that, according to their resume and their job application, should be able to do the job, to do all the requirements, okay? So then when you're in the interview and they do ask you this question, okay, it is typical for people not to meet fully all the posted requirements, okay? So if you don't meet all of the posted requirements fully, you are typical, okay? That's pretty much almost all candidates that fall into that category, okay? Now, you don't have to talk about how you meet every single one, okay? You just have to speak to each one. So maybe you don't meet every single thing that they're looking for, but you do have something of that nature that will show that this requirement is not going to be a showstopper for you, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. If they need 5 years experience in something and you only have 3, you could say, look, I've got 3 years experience, but I've also done this type of work before. So I feel I really know what I'm doing. It shouldn't really be an issue. Okay, and so forth. So hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for that great question. Kelly Nicholson, here we go. Kelly Nicholson says, wow, a real eye-opener as to how some companies operate. Also, I have a question. How old is too old to get a promotion? For a job? Thank you, the company's expert. Well, thank you too, Kelly Nicholson, for your question. Okay, how old is too old to get a promotion? Well, I would say around 200, okay? If you are over 200 years old, then maybe we should talk more. But for everyone else, okay, it's never too old to get a promotion. Now, if you have concerns that you are over the average age for the role that you're in, okay, or the role that you want, if that's perhaps an issue here and what's driving this question. Here's the deal. The people that will not hold your age against you are people who are in that age group themselves, okay? So if you have a boss or some kind of decision maker or somebody at a higher level than you, and you want to try and make a case for yourself as to why you should get a promotion, go to the person who is in the same age group as you, if that exists where you are. And you can be sure that they will not hold your age against you. In fact, they will probably regard your age as a good thing because they themselves are in that age group and they see the value of it, okay? This applies to people that are older, okay? The person that's not going to hold your age against you is an older person. It also applies to people that are younger. If you're young and you're just entering the workforce and you don't have a lot of experience and you're, concerned that your youth is going to hold you back from getting a promotion, okay? The one person or the one type of person that's not going to hold that against you is a person that's in your age group who's equally young like you, okay? So that's the person that you should try and make a case to, if at all possible. These are the people that are going to value you, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. That's a great question. Okay, what do we got here? Moab Man. Moab Man says, I negotiated my salary successfully, but they want a safety report from my current employer. Being that I haven't gotten a final job offer, should I risk telling my current job I need this? Seems very unusual. Yeah, okay, so Moab Man, here's the deal. It is an accepted thing that if you have a current job and you are looking for another job while you are currently working, okay, most employers understand and accept that they can't contact your current employer because that would jeopardize your position there. If you haven't told your current employer that you're looking for a job and then, a prospective employer contacts your current employer and asks for a reference or something, that could be bad. In some countries, you have to give official permission for a company to contact your current employer, okay? Now, that's kind of what your excuse should be here, okay? If this prospective employer wants a safety report from your current employer, a great way to sort of handle this is to say, like, look, I haven't disclosed to my current employer that I'm currently looking for a job. So because of that, I can't hit them up for the safety report that I give to you. And that's how you would handle this. Now, if this prospective employer doesn't accept that, that itself is a red flag, okay? Basically, they're wanting you to put your current job in jeopardy, and that's so that you could perhaps get this prospective job. Now, that's risky, and you're the one that stands to lose if it doesn't work out, okay? So for that reason, I would say that if they don't accept your explanation here, just move on. It is not worth risking your current employment to get a possible future employment, okay? That would be how I would handle this if it were me. But thank you for the question. That's definitely a relevant question. Okay, this is from BKMCG. BK says, Bill, how long should a person work before leaving for a different company with better pay and location? Oh, that's a good one. Listen, if an opportunity arises, BK, take it, okay? If it's in your interest to take it, and, time is of the essence, and something has fallen into your lap now, and you have to act, okay? I would say take it. The bottom line is that, first of all, organizations are not generally loyal to their employees, okay? And that being said, you don't have to necessarily be loyal to them if something is in your own best interest to do. Okay, so that's kind of the first principle here. Secondly, if you're concerned about having, kind of strange things on your resume, like for example, if you had the last 5 jobs you had, you left after 6 months, okay, and you're concerned that having a resume that says this will signal that you are a high-risk employee and then nobody wants to hire you. Okay, if you're concerned about that, if it were me, I would put your mind at ease and I would say, look, if an opportunity comes up now, take it, and you can fix your resume up later. Okay, you can always leave things off your resume if necessary. And if that means that you have a work gap in your employment history and the work gap is in the past, that's really not that big of a deal. Employers care more about if you have a current work gap. That's a little bit more serious in the sense that they will care more about that. But a past work gap, they're not too concerned about that, okay? So if that's the issue, what's driving this, I would say don't worry about it too much. If a good opportunity arises, take it. Don't be held back because you feel a certain loyalty to your employer, if that's what's going on, okay? So thanks for the question, BK. And finally, we have one here from Keeping the Kids Busy. That's an awesome name. Keeping the Kids Busy says, hello, I really like your interview videos. Well, thank you very much. I would like to know if it's a good idea to mention if you have ADHD, considering many companies are saying that they are open to accommodating candidates if needed. Okay, so should you disclose if you have ADHD? Okay, here's what I would say to this. I mean, I don't have a ton of personal experience with ADHD, but this is how I would handle it. Okay, if you have an actual medically diagnosed condition and it's recognized by the medical establishment of the country you're in, okay, so it's like a recognized disorder and you're maybe getting benefits or something because of it, I certainly would disclose it if I was asked, okay? I wouldn't necessarily go in leading by volunteering this information, okay? And I want to make it clear that this is, medically diagnosed. If you're self-diagnosing yourself with ADHD, I wouldn't disclose that. I wouldn't sort of bring that into the job interview, okay? Now, the reason I wouldn't lead with this, even if it was medically diagnosed, is because you want them to want to hire you. You don't want to get hired because they have quotas to fill or, this kind of thing. In my opinion, you would rather be hired for your skills and who you are rather than being hired because they have, a quota to fill and they have a policy of accommodating people with disabilities. Okay, so that's what I would say. I would disclose it when asked, but I wouldn't sort of just lead off with this. Okay, it in itself is not a reason for someone to hire you. You would want them to want to hire you for your abilities and overlook the fact that you have ADHD and be sensitive to it. That's kind of how I would handle it personally. But then again, I'm not the biggest expert on this personally, so I'm open to other people elaborating on that. But hopefully that helps. Thanks to everybody who sent in questions. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you on the next video where I answer your questions. You guys are awesome. Take care.